Our guest tonight is WWE Hall of Famer Booker T. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man.
Well, listen, we're very excited to have you. Starting in September, Reality of Wrestling will begin airing its weekly show on Fight TV streaming service. That's big news. As the founder of Reality of Wrestling, how big is this deal for the long-term future of your company?
Oh man, it's huge. To actually have a platform to let the world see reality of wrestling, as well as to be able to compete with all the other independent companies around the world as well. You're only going to get better, if you actually, competing. So it's going to be good, almost like the Monday Night Wars for me all over again. That's the kind of feeling I got with reality of wrestling. My thing is, we have a lot of young guys. I probably have the youngest roster in professional wrestling as far as companies go. And for me to actually let my guys get out there and show how good they really are. I always tell people, when I went to WWE, I wanted to compete with the best wrestlers out there. And now reality of wrestling is going to be able to compete with the best indie wrestlers around the world. And I'm really excited and looking forward to it.
Well, the Fight TV streaming service is also carrying the pay-per-views that Reality of Wrestling will be doing, including the company's first live pay-per-view, Christmas Chaos, on December 9th. What does it mean to you to see the company finally reach the pay-per-view stage now as well?
That's been our goal since day one. To get to the point to where we could just create revenue and make the company bigger. Every dime that goes, that we make goes right back into the company to make it, successful and make it, the independent, company that everybody want to go to. So right now we're in a great position, to actually pick up more sponsors. Actually, like I say, to create revenue by doing pay-per-view, be able to do cross promotions, with companies perhaps in Japan, whatnot. So I'm looking forward to the future of reality wrestling. It's going to be a great ride.
Well, you guys are already creating buzz with Christmas Chaos because you guys are bringing in Jason David Frank, known as the Green Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. How do you think fans attending live and those watching on pay-per-view are going to react to having Frank there?
It's something different. Wrestling is always been that, especially, in WWE, the stars always want to be a part of, what's going on. Christmas Chaos is our biggest event of the year, and to have Green Ranger, Jason, coming in to be a part of it. We don't even really know what capacity he's going to be playing right now. But just to have him a part of, reality of wrestling roster for one night is awesome. My son, he's 7 years old, and he can't wait to see the Green Ranger. Our Facebook page pretty much crashed, when people found out, he was going to be there. So for us, it's going to be big, and he's just the first, guest that we've announced for Christmas Chaos. It's going to be more guests to come, and it's going to be an awesome show. Look forward to seeing a dream match on Christmas Chaos, as well as the stars of reality of wrestling going out there and giving 100% entertainment.
Well, Reality of Wrestling has already been taken over the Texas independent scene, but when you look at other companies like Ring of Honor, some of the top independent companies in the country, what is Reality of Wrestling doing to compete with these bigger names that are already kind of entrenched in the minds of independent wrestling fans?
The competition is, from many different levels, many different scales. I think what we do different is, like I say, my champion that was, reality of wrestling champion for 2 years straight, Spanish kid by the name of Gino. He had been with me since he was 16 years old. When you're a young kid out there, it's hard to aspire to be 50 and champion, but it's easy to aspire to be 19 and champion when you're 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. So that's what we do. We cater to the young crowd. We got a bunch of guys that's on our roster that a whole lot of people don't know. But when you watch them perform, you go, wow, man, these guys are really good. And I think that's what's different about reality of wrestling. You're going to be able to see guys, from the beginning, from their infancy stages. and you're going to say, man, I remember when those guys were on Reality of Wrestling. Then you're going to one day wake up and you're going to see them in WWE. That's what Reality of Wrestling is. We're a feeding ground. We're definitely, like I say, the AAA of professional wrestling. To get the guys, we don't want them to stay in Reality of Wrestling. We want our guys to actually, advance to the next step. Go around the world, see that globe just like Booker T did. And if they do that, Reality of Wrestling is successful.
Well, as someone from Philadelphia who loves independent wrestling myself, I don't get a lot of chances to watch Reality of Wrestling. When I tune in to Fight TV, who are some of the guys and gals that I should be looking out for when I tune in?
Our diamond, in the Reality of Wrestling, is Kylie Ray. She's an awesome, specimen as far as going out and performing at a very high level. J.J. Blake, our television champion, he's a awesome stud, goes out and perform at a very high level. Rex Andrews, the most dangerous element in maybe professional wrestling, definitely in Reality of Wrestling. This kid is on the rise, 23 years old, and he's going to be a superstar, major superstar. Gino, like I said, kid, 21 years old, has been with me since he was 16 years old. A true professional in every sense of the word. You're going to get a chance to see this kid go out there and perform at a very high level. I got one kid, his name is Zach. He's actually a kid just out of the wrestling school, came to one of my fantasy camps a couple of years ago, and now he's in the ring performing at a very high level, and that's what you're going to see with Reality of Wrestling. You're going to see, like I said, a lot of young guys that you may not know them in the beginning, but in the the long run, you're going to get to know these guys. You're going to love them. You're going to support them, and one day you're going to say, "Man, I remember when." And that's the beauty of Reality of Wrestling.
Well, changing gears here just a bit. Last year, you announced that you would be running for the mayor of Houston in the 2019 election. How are you preparing for the transition into politics? And how do you think your story of overcoming adversity on the very streets of Houston you will be leading will help you connect with the voters?
Well, I relate with, a majority of the voters. I think, everybody, is not born with a silver spoon in their mouth. It's very small percentage of those type of people. You know what I mean? So I think I relate with more than few. I'm talking to the young people here in the city of Houston, the millennials, the ones that feels left out. The ones that feel like, older people think that they're a part of the problem opposed to being a part of the solution. I'm one of the guys that say, we've heard respect your elders, but, we're in a time now, where social media is such a huge thing. We got to know how to respect our young people and bring them in the fold and, help and let them be a part of, the process, you know what I mean? And not the silent majority. I think that's what is going to propel me to City Hall more than anything. It's just knowing what young people want. I've walked in a lot of them shoes. They know that, and giving them hope and an inspiration to be, bigger and better than they ever thought they ever could be. I think that's why I win.
That's refreshing. In a political landscape today that is very abrasive, your perspective on it seems to be very refreshing. I do agree. I think a lot of people, young, like I don't think there's an age gap. I think that coming at it from that perspective, like you said, it will allow you to connect with people. And you know what? I'm going to come down to Houston. I'm going to be voting for you, Booker. Believe me, I'm coming down, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Hey, well, changing gears one more time here. Let's talk about your wrestling career and relating back. Over the course of your career, you've enjoyed a ton of success as a singles wrestler and as a tag team wrestler with your brother Stevie Ray. Looking back on your career now, someone who is in the commentary booth now, what phase of it did you enjoy the most between being on your own and being part of Harlem Heat?
Excuse me. It's hard to, differentiate the two. Actually, they all pretty much just lump together. Every pretty much every phase of my career. It was always about the entertainment. It was always about taking the role, and no matter what the role was, making that role something special, making it bigger and better than anyone expectations could imagine. And that's what my specialty's always been. In the wrestling business, going out there and making my opponent look better than he could actually make himself look. It's always been about the entertainment and the show at the end of the day, going out there and giving those fans that ultimate that ultimate sense of entertainment. So when they walk away, they go, man, I can't wait to go back and, watch Booker T do his thing again, So that's what my head was the whole time. It was always just about the entertainment.
Well, a huge fan of Booker T. I've always been a huge fan of you. You're a former world champion, multi-time, absolutely amazing in the ring, on the mic. You've squared off against some of the best wrestlers in the world. Stood toe-to-toe with them and shined brighter than them in most cases, if I do say so myself. Which superstar to you stands out as your biggest rival? And if you could square off against anyone for one last dream match, who would it be?
Oh man, Booker T, Shawn Michaels, in our prime. Not now, of course.
I don't know. He's the Colonel now. He's the Colonel. So, I mean, he's looking pretty good in that Colonel outfit, too.
He's still looking real good, But, in our prime, I think Shawn Michaels and I could have went out and created magic. And that's the one guy that I never really got a chance to, get in the ring and perform with, But it's been so many rivals over my years in professional wrestling. Most of them Canadian guys, from the Rick Martels to the, Christians, the Chris Benoits of the world. Those guys were, all, ultimate professionals. Every one of them went out and worked. Seemed like they worked under the same roof for so many years. They had that same, tenacity, and they went out and performed, just tirelessly, and I feel like I was one of those guys. I felt like I went to that same school, so the Canadian guys were pretty much my all-time rivals in the business.
2013, you were inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. What did that achievement mean to you, and how did it feel to be inducted alongside legends like Mick Foley, Bruno Sammartino, Bob Backlund, Trish Stratus?
Oh man, that's it's one of those days to where, you say, man, you did it. For me, to thank the fans for that ride, always supporting me, always, raising the roof for me back in the day, in WCW, my wife, being there, supporting me, making a drive for me so many nights, after those shows, when I was so tired and beat up to actually make it to the next time myself, I think that was, the biggest part, more than anything, just to thank everyone who was a part of my success along the ride. I think that was truly, for me, what it was really all about. Many of us, so many of us, guys that didn't make it to the finish line, didn't get a chance to thank the fans for that ride. I just want to make sure I do that right. Because, like I say, so many of us didn't get a chance to do that.
Let's finish here. You're one of the biggest superstars of all time, but you've made the successful transition to the commentary team now. What was that transition like for you, and how do you enjoy doing that, seeing the action from afar instead of being in the ring yourself?
Man, I love it, man. I love, having the best seat in the house, watching the young guys go out there and do their thing. It's their time now, and I embrace it, you know what I mean? I push them to go to as far as they possibly can go, do much more than Booker T did, so for me, I love, making that transition, changing my levels, being able to still be around what I love, more than anything. And then to, try to figure out, the nuances of that game as well, because just being commentator is it's not as easy as people think, going out there talking for 3 hours, So for me, I don't call myself a commentator. I call myself an analyst, and I know my role. And I go out there and I try to have fun with it every week because you just never know, you just never know when it's going to be the last time, So for me, making that transition, doing a job that I never imagined, dreamt of doing, you know what I mean? I don't have any broadcast experience or anything like that, but I used to play around doing commentating in the back, and one day they say, "Hey, Book, you want to try this out?" And I go, "Yeah, I'll try it out." But the thing is, you never know what you can do until you try, and then even if you try, you still may fail, and then that's when you got to go and prepare. You know what I mean? Because if you're not preparing, you're preparing to fail. So that's my advice to the young people: just prepare.
Amazing way to finish right there. Beautiful ending there. A huge thank you to our guest tonight, Booker T. Catch Reality of Wrestling's weekly show and the December 9th pay-per-view Christmas Chaos on Fight TV. Go get the Fight TV app. Go on Fight TV. It is totally worth your time. Booker T, tell the fans where else they can support you.
Hey, man, follow me on Twitter at Booker T5X. Pretty much same thing on Instagram also. And boom, come down and check out some reality of wrestling sometime, or check it out on YouTube, or like you say, starting in September, Fight TV every week. It's going to be going down. I appreciate you guys for downloading that app. Do it now. I do it for you.
Another huge thank you. Good luck moving forward, sir.
I appreciate it.